The secret law of new beginnings. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast uncharted forest, a place filled with beauty, mystery, and possibility. But to step into it, you must first leave the familiar path behind. Life often brings us to this threshold, the crossroads of endings and beginnings. The question is, will you take that first step? Because within the secret law of new beginnings lies the power to transform your life. To embrace the power of new beginnings, we must first understand an essential truth. Every great beginning is born out of an ending. This is not just an abstract idea, it is a universal law that governs life itself. Consider the natural world. A seed, seemingly lifeless, must fall into the earth and be buried. To the untrained eye, it might look like the seed has been lost, even destroyed. But beneath the surface, transformation begins. The seed breaks open, releasing what it was to become what it is destined to be. Endings are often painful. They feel like loss, disruption, and even failure. When a chapter in life closes, a job, a relationship, or a dream, it can feel as though the ground has been pulled out from under us. But endings are not the enemy. They are the soil in which new possibilities take root. Without endings, there can be no beginnings. Think about the story of Thomas Edison. In 1914, a devastating fire consumed his research laboratory, destroying years of work in a single night. Most people would have been crushed, but not Edison. Standing amidst the smoldering ruins, he turned to his son and said, "There is great value in disaster. All our mistakes are burned up. Thank God we can start anew." This perspective was not just optimistic, it was transformative. Out of that loss, Edison went on to create some of his most innovative inventions. His story teaches us that what looks like the end can be the fertile ground for a new beginning if we choose to see it that way. Endings invite us to let go of what no longer serves us. Imagine holding a glass of water so tightly that your hand begins to cramp. The tighter you grip, the more pain you feel. Letting go is not just about releasing, it is about making room for something new to be placed in your hand. Holding on to past seasons, old identities, or failed dreams can block the flow of what is waiting to come. Real-life examples of this principle surround us. When Steve Jobs was forced out of Apple, the very company he had co-founded, it seemed like a devastating end, but that painful chapter allowed him to reinvent himself, explore new ventures like Pixar, and eventually return to Apple to lead it into its most innovative era. What looked like failure became the soil for unimaginable success. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to that is preventing my new beginning? Is it a toxic relationship, a dead-end job, or a dream that no longer aligns with who I am becoming? The law of new beginnings reminds us that letting go is not losing, it is planting. Trust that what feels like loss may be the foundation for something far greater than you can currently see. The most profound beginnings often appear so small that we overlook them. Great things rarely start with fanfare. They begin quietly, like a whisper in the soul, or a single step forward. Nature reveals this truth in the acorn that holds within it the potential to become a towering oak tree. The beginning is small, almost insignificant, but it carries within it the blueprint for greatness. In our fast-paced world, we often crave instant results. We want success to arrive fully formed and breakthroughs to happen overnight. But the law of new beginnings reminds us that every monumental change starts with a single, often unremarkable step. Small beginnings are not a limitation. They are an invitation to grow, to persevere, and to trust the process. Think of Howard Schultz, the man behind Starbucks. When he first walked into a small coffee shop in Seattle, it was just a local business with a modest operation. It didn't look like the beginning of a global empire. But Schultz saw something more, a vision for creating a culture around coffee that had never been imagined. He didn't have all the resources or even a clear path forward, but he took the first step. step. That small beginning eventually transformed Starbucks into a worldwide phenomenon. The power of small beginnings also lies in their accessibility. No matter who you are or where you start, there is always a small step you can take. You don't need all the answers to begin. You don't need perfection to move forward. A single act of courage, a phone call, a written goal, or a decision to show up can set the stage for something extraordinary. Consider the story of J.K. Rowling, who started writing the Harry Potter series while living in near poverty as a single mother. She didn't have a grand office or a team of publishers clamoring for her work. What she had was an idea and a pen. She wrote in cafes during her daughter's naps, crafting a world that would go on to inspire millions. The beginnings were small and ordinary, but they were consistent. It was through those small, faithful steps that her dream became a reality. The beauty of small beginnings is that they teach us resilience. When you plant a seed, you don't see the results immediately. There are days, even weeks, when it seems as though nothing is happening. But below the surface, roots are forming. Progress is being made even if it's invisible to the eye. The same is true in life. Every small act of faith, every step forward is creating the foundation for something greater. What small beginning is calling you right now? Perhaps it's starting a daily habit, pursuing a new skill, or revisiting a long-forgotten dream. Do not despise small beginnings. They are not insignificant, they are sacred. They carry within them the potential for transformation. The greatest obstacle to embracing small beginnings is often our own impatience. We want results now, and when we don't see immediate progress, we are tempted to give up. But the law of new beginnings reminds us that the oak tree takes years to grow, the river carves the canyon over centuries, and the masterpiece is created one brushstroke at a time. Trust the process and honor the small steps that will lead you to your new beginning. Stepping into a new beginning is never easy. It demands courage to leave the familiar behind and venture into the unknown. The comfort of the familiar, even when it no longer serves us, often feels safer than the uncertainty of change. But every new beginning requires a leap of faith, a willingness to step forward without having all the answers or guarantees. Fear will always try to hold you back. It questions your ability, your readiness, and even your worthiness. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if I lose everything? These voices can be paralyzing. But courage doesn't silence fear. It acts in spite of it. Courage acknowledges the fear, but chooses to trust in the possibility of something greater. Think of the story of Abraham, a man who left everything he knew, his homeland, his family, and his security, because he felt called to journey to an unknown land. He had no map, no assurance of success, only a promise and a belief that his step of faith would lead to something extraordinary. His courage to step into the unknown laid the foundation for a legacy that endures to this day. In a modern context, think about individuals like Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. She had no background in business or fashion when she began her company. What she did have was a belief in her vision. When she faced rejection after rejection from manufacturers who didn't see the potential in her idea, she didn't give up. Instead, she kept knocking on doors, taking risks, and trusting the process. Her leap of faith turned Spanx into a billion-dollar brand, but it all began with her willingness to step forward despite fear and doubt. Faith isn't just a spiritual concept, it's a practical force that propels us toward new beginnings. Faith is believing in what you cannot yet see. It's trusting that the effort you put in today will bear fruit tomorrow. It's holding on to the conviction that the path will reveal itself as you walk it. Without faith, it's easy to stay stuck in the safety of the status quo, never daring to dream or grow. Courage and faith go hand in hand. Courage is the act of stepping forward, And faith is the belief that the step will lead somewhere meaningful. Even when the path is unclear, even when the outcome is uncertain, faith gives you the strength to keep moving. Take, for example, the story of Malala Yousafzai. As a young girl in Pakistan, she faced unimaginable danger simply for wanting an education. Despite threats to her life, she stood up for her right to learn and for the rights of countless other. Her courage and faith in the power of education led her to survive an assassination attempt and become the youngest Nobel Peace Prize laureate in history. Her story reminds us that stepping into a new beginning often requires incredible bravery, but the rewards of that leap can change not only your life, but the lives of others. Ask yourself, what step of faith are you avoiding right now? Maybe it's leaving a job that drains you, starting a project that feels overwhelming, or ending a relationship that no longer aligns with your values. Whatever it is, know this: the fear you feel is normal. The doubts are part of the process, but the only way to discover what's possible is to take that first step. New beginnings test us, stretch us, and often push us to our limits. But within that discomfort lies the opportunity for transformation. Just as a caterpillar must struggle to emerge from its cocoon, we too must endure the discomfort of change to spread our wings and fly. The process may be difficult, but the outcome is always worth it. New beginnings are not just about starting over. They are about transformation. They are an invitation to reinvent yourself, to let go of who you were and embrace who you are becoming. Every new chapter in life is a chance to redefine your story and realign with your purpose. Reinvention is not reserved for moments of crisis or failure. It is a constant opportunity available to anyone willing to embrace change. Oprah Winfrey is a powerful example of this. Early in her career, she struggled to find her place as a news anchor. Critics told her she wasn't fit for television. Instead of letting those judgments define her, she pivoted. She discovered her true calling in the world of talk shows, where her empathy and authenticity could shine. That reinvention not only reshaped her career, but also allowed her to impact millions of lives. Reinvention often begins with a decision to shed old identities and limiting beliefs. It's about recognizing that who you were yesterday doesn't have to define who you are today. Too often, people remain stuck because they cling to outdated versions of themselves, versions shaped by fear, failure, or the expectations of others. But a new beginning gives you permission to let go of that baggage. Consider Nelson Mandela. After spending 27 years in prison, he could have emerged angry and vengeful. Instead, he chose to reinvent himself as a leader of reconciliation and unity. He could have been consumed by his past, but he used his new beginning to shape a future defined by hope and transformation. His story reminds us that no matter how dark the past may seem, it does not have to dictate the future. Reinvention also requires self-reflection. It asks us to examine our values, our goals, and our deepest desires. What kind of life do you want to build? What kind of person do you want to become? These are not easy questions, but they are essential if we want to make the most of a new beginning. Sometimes reinvention happens in small, gradual steps. It might mean learning a new skill, changing a daily habit, or surrounding yourself with people who inspire you to grow. Other times it requires bold, decisive action, leaving a career, starting a business, or moving to a new city. Whether small or large, each step toward reinvention is a step toward a more authentic, fulfilling life. A new beginning is not just a continuation of what was, it is a chance to create something entirely new. Think of it as an artist standing before a blank canvas. The possibilities are endless, but the final masterpiece depends on the artist's willingness to take risks, make mistakes, and try again. Ask yourself, what part of your life needs reinvention? Is there an area where you've settled for less than what you truly want? A new beginning is your chance to break free from those limitations and create a life that reflects your highest potential. Reinvention is not about erasing the past. It's about honoring the lessons it taught you while stepping into a future that aligns with your dreams and values. It's about transforming scars into strength, failures into wisdom, and endings into new beginnings. No matter where you are in life, you have the power to reinvent yourself. Each morning is an opportunity to start fresh, to let go of what no longer serves you, and to embrace the person you were always meant to be. The question is not whether reinvention is possible. The question is whether you are willing to take the first step. Let go of fear. Embrace the unknown. Reinvent yourself. Your new beginning awaits. New beginnings hold within them the power to transform our lives in ways we cannot yet imagine. They are the bridge between who we are and who we are meant to become. Yes, they require us to face endings, to let go of the familiar, and to step into the unknown. Yes, they demand courage, faith, and the willingness to reinvent ourselves. But it is through these challenges that we find our strength, our purpose, and our greatest potential. Every new beginning is an invitation, a call to rise, to dream again, and to believe that something greater is waiting for you. It's not about perfection or certainty. It's about taking the first step, no matter how small, and trusting that the path will reveal itself. You have the power to create your own new beginning. The question is, will you answer the call? Will you leave behind the weight of the past and step forward into the unknown with courage? Will you trust that what feels like an ending is really the start of something extraordinary? The secret law of new beginnings is this: within every ending lies a seed of possibility, and within every step of faith lies a potential for transformation. It's not just about starting over, it's about stepping into the fullness of who you were created to be. So today, I challenge you to embrace your new beginning. Release what no longer serves you. Take that first step and dare to believe in the extraordinary life waiting on the other side. Your new chapter is calling go and write it with courage, faith, and the knowledge that the best is yet to come.